Mr. Speaker, I support Bill 18 because it's an important step forward in addressing bullying in schools. Bill 18 still needs to be strengthened, as bullying occurs not just between students who attend the same school. We're all aware that students can be bullied from other schools, either face-to-face or through social media. Students also experience bullying by those who've dropped out of school or who've graduated or who are older individuals. I asked the Premier, what specific actions is he going to take to ensure all forms of bullying of students are adequately addressed?
First of all, I appreciate the member for River Heights, the leader of the Liberals, supporting the anti-bullying bill. I hope he encourages the other members on the other side of the House to support it as well. The bill provides for protection for students so they can have a safe learning environment in the schools. It gives discretionary authority to administrators, principals, and teachers to implement the bill on a foundation of the Safe Schools Act, which is already in place, which has consequences attached to it. So on the foundation of the Safe Schools Act and the Safe Schools Charters which are in place and the anti-bullying bill, we are putting tools in the hands of administrators and teachers and parent councils to ensure that every school environment is a safe learning environment for students regardless of their background.
Mr. Speaker, the current Bill 18 needs to be strengthened in its approach to all forms of bullying. There's a gap a mile wide in addressing the sort of bullying which occurred with Amanda Todd, which was cyberbullying, but from what we know, one of the primary bullies may have been an older individual who was not in her school. The present Bill 18 lacks the means and the teeth to address bullying, including cyberbullying, where it's perpetrated by individuals who are outside the school system. I ask the Premier, what specific measures is the Premier going to take to address bullying of students by people outside the school system?
First of all, I want to thank the leader of the Liberal Party, the member for River Heights, for identifying that one of the most important features in this bill is the ability to deal with social media bullying. That's a very important dimension of what's happening out there in our communities. If the leader of the opposition is concerned about activities by people outside the school using social media for bullying, I can tell him that our Minister of Justice is working closely with the federal minister to ensure that that's a criminal code offense, and we'll follow up on that. I hope the member will support that when it comes forward. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the importance of addressing bullying coming from somebody outside the school still stands. And I'd like to suggest an answer to the Premier. One of the problems in Manitoba is that Manitobans' Human Rights Code, which could be used to address such bullying, doesn't address bullying in all its forms. It only addresses bullying where harassment occurs in association with certain specific forms of discrimination. It's important to make our Human Rights Code consistent with and cohesive with Bill 18. I ask the Premier, will he support an amendment to broaden Manitobans' Human Rights Code to include a general provision against bullying?
Again, I find the question from the leader of the Liberal Party and the member for River Heights a useful question. It does underline the fact that just 2 years ago we changed the Human Rights Code to ensure that people cannot be discriminated against based on social differences. And that included people with, we also brought in a specific amendment that would not allow them to be discriminated against based on gender difference or gender orientation. So we broadened the provisions of the criminal code to specifically address groups which have been victimized by bullying, whether in the school, whether in public, or through the social media. If the member has other useful suggestions, we'd be happy to entertain them. But he does need to know that the Human Rights Code has been broadened in Manitoba to cover and include these very people which have been the victim of bullying in Manitoba.